Jay-Z Courtside coming at y'all today on October 24th. This is our second podcast that we are doing live on Twitch, on the YouTube channel. So if you guys do want to be in the community, get connected with the live crew. We are doing segments every single Friday at the end of each podcast that have nothing to do with basketball. And I need your help from my viewers that they were helping me in the Twitch stream. It's going to be called Friday Toss-Ups, where you guys share an experience that you had happen in your life and then bounce that and ask me a question about my life. If you want to get to know me, be sure to go through to the live stream on Twitch, YouTube, wherever it is you want to watch. And if you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple, be sure to leave a 5-star review. The reviews, I say this and none of you guys are hooking me up. Some dude left a 1-star review. So if you guys are enjoying these pods and you guys want to keep them daily, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern live, be sure to leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and if you are listening on those, be sure to drop a follow. And if you guys want the visual and see what I look like and see all the visuals that I pop up on the screen, be sure to come through to the YouTube and drop a like and subscribe. Guys, the games last night were out of this world. I think this isn't even a hot take. I think this has been the greatest first week in NBA history. You've had multiple 40-point games. You've already had your first 50-point game with 20-some free throws, which we'll talk about. And then you had a legit 50-point game, double overtimes. We've had 2 double overtimes on national television and another overtime. So we have had, how many overtimes is that? 5 overtimes on national television in the first 3 days of the NBA. This is unheard of. This is insane. We're going to be starting off this podcast talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers, and then we're going to be bouncing our way over to Golden State, talking about the Warriors and the Nuggets. We're going to go over our weekend picks, because as you guys know, there are no podcasts on Saturday and Sunday. The podcasts are Monday through Friday. So on Monday, we'll recap everything from the weekend, anything value, anything of importance, right? And then we're going to end the podcast off like we're going to every single Friday with Friday Toss-Ups. So if you guys want to share a story that happened in your life and ask me about my life, be sure to come through to the live podcast, the live show at 9 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. We already got a bunch of questions and stories lined up for the end of this podcast. So be sure, this is going to be a tradition over here every Friday Toss-Ups. You guys know what to do. All right. Discord server, Twitter, every link that you need will be down below in the show notes. Guys, enough of all of that. I think it's time that we start this podcast with the Thunder defeating the Indiana Pacers. I should have put surviving against the Indiana Pacers in double OT, 141 to 135. If you guys watched this game, first of all, I want to talk about what both teams were missing. Okay. Because I'm not taking a whole lot of stock on this game. The Oklahoma City Thunder were missing Cason Wallace, who is their backup 3. They're missing Nikola Topic, he probably wasn't going to play. They're missing Isaiah Joe, who was a rotational player last year. They are missing J-Dub, who is their starting 3. So not only were they missing their starting 3, they were also missing their backup 3. They were missing Alex Caruso and Kenrich Williams. So they were missing so many rotational players. So many. And of course, the Indiana Pacers are missing Tyrese Halliburton for the year. TJ McConnell. So they're missing their starting point guard, their backup point guard. And that's it. And they lost Miles Turner to the Milwaukee Bucks, of course. Now, something that I really want to talk about, and it's not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shooting 26 free throws last night. I want to talk about something else. I want to give massive shout outs to a couple players before we talk about the man that dropped 55 points last night. We have Aaron Wiggins, who had a great game, 23 points. I want to talk about him as well. I want to dive a little bit deeper. I wanted to talk about Brooks Barnhizer. Who? Brooks Barnhizer? I want to talk about Jalen Williams, not J-Dub, but Jalen Williams. I think they call him J-Will. I want to talk about, I've heard his name pronounced differently, a Jay Mitchell, the rookie, or AJ Mitchell. I'm going to go ahead and call him AJ Mitchell. I want to talk about these guys in particular because their numbers were called last night and they answered. I don't know how the Thunder continue to do this, but they keep getting these draft picks that turn into something special. AJ Mitchell, he played 38 minutes last night. He shot 9 for 19, which isn't the best. He's a rookie. He's a rookie, and he dropped 26 points. That kid, beautiful left-handed shot. He's got impeccable form. He takes it to the hole. He drives, like, honestly, with no regard for his own safety, as most young players do. And he's just got, he has no fear. Part of that plays because the Indiana Pacers have no interior defense. Their perimeter defense is elite. I want to also give a massive shout out to Aaron Wiggins. I don't know why Dagnall took Aaron Wiggins out at the end of was it end of regulation or was it the end of first overtime? I think it might have been both. He took him out when it made no sense to me. He was shooting, I think at that point, he was shooting 3 for 7 from 3. And he ended up hitting 2 clutch 3-pointers in double OT. So massive shout out to Aaron Wiggins. I want to say for both of these teams, I'll talk about the Pacers in a second. Both of these teams, and this is how you know they're both great teams. It's always next man up. Tyrese is out. Okay. TJ McConnell. TJ McConnell's out. Okay. Andrew Nembhard, who got hurt that I will talk about. And same with the Oklahoma City Thunder. This just proves how good of an overall team they are. And I want to say, I want to give my sympathy to Lou Dort. He was tasked in guarding unbelievable performances from Pascal Siakam and Benedict Mathurin. I think this game just proved so much to me that the Indiana Pacers are going to be a good team. They have no expectations this year, none. And I think that shows with no expectation, they are going to show up and show out. They're not afraid. And I think that's the biggest thing to note here is they were just up against most of the champions and they still put up an unbelievable fight. But let me finish talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Obviously, I got to break down these games a little bit more just because we only had 2 games last night. I just want to talk about one man before we reach Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Chet Holmgren, I have a question. Do you want to be elite? Is that something that piques your interest? Is that something that tickles your fancy? Because Chet, I'm honestly not sure if you want to. So far in game 1, I was like, you know what? This is Chet's year. Everything I predicted, it's coming true. I guessed right with Alperen Şengün. Guessed right with Amen Thompson. Guessed right with a bunch of other players around this league, right? John Morant having a comeback. But you, Chet Holmgren, you're very young, right? I don't want to assume too soon, but it does not look like you have that killer's instinct in you. I can't seem to find it. In the first half of game 1 against the Rockets, you went crazy. And then in the second half, you sort of disappeared. And then in double OT, you drilled 2 threes. And I was like, okay, this dude knows what he wants. I don't know what it was, but last night he shot 4 for 12. He obviously had a big putback at the end of the game that got called goaltending because he wasn't going to make it anyways. He had 15 points, but he was 0 for 6 from 3. 4 for 12 from the field. Chet Holmgren is so confusing because you can ignore everything else from his game. He's not really doing much defensively. Siakam was cooking him every time he got switched on. He was jumping in his face, which is a big body to shoot over. I don't know. I just don't know. He had 0 blocks last night, but he did have 2 steals. He's just a perplexing player because, you know, we see what Wembanyama's doing and we see like his skill set, but then we see Chet Holmgren. It's like, are you just going to be a spot up guy? Are you just going to be a spot up shooter? Is this what Chet Holmgren, is this what we envisioned for you? And so far it's playing like that. Now, I know it's just a game that he didn't play that well, so maybe it's just that. I hope I'm not assuming too much, but what I said about the Oklahoma City Thunder has never been more true. This team starts with Shai, J-Dub, but it ends with Chet Holmgren. If Chet does not improve significantly, this will not be a dynasty. They need something out of Chet Holmgren to really make this team take that next leap. Because yes, there is a next leap. Teams are going to figure out how to maintain, not stop, but how to control Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and J-Dub when he's on the court. What they won't be able to control is your 7'2", 7'3" player in Chet Holmgren that no team is physically capable of hypothetically stopping. So Chet, you let me know if you're really going to be doing that. Now, I don't want to talk too much about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He had a crazy game, 15 for 31. I know what everybody's going to say. He had 23 out of his 26 free throws. So 23 out of his 55 points that he dropped were all free throws. I didn't take my eyes off the screen this game. I was so into it, right? And I will be honest, out of the 26 free throws that Shai had, I would say he deserved about 18 of them, which is the majority. If you guys see how this guy plays, you would understand what I'm referring to here. The way every single player on the Indiana Pacers were biting at his pump fakes, biting at his step backs, biting at his fake leaners. It's just, he's doing it over and over and over again. And everyone is falling for the same exact move over and over and over again. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander may be called a foul merchant, a foul baiter, right? He might be called that. But at the same time, this man actually deserves 85 to 90% of his free throws. He gets his opponent in the air. They bite. And he draws the foul. He draws the foul. Like, it's simple. Now, I know he's flipping his head back. I know he's got some calls that just weren't foul calls. But overall, 80 to 90% of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's free throws were not baited. Yes, technically he baits them to jump. But it's not intentionally like, let me get these free throws. I don't care about making the shot. He does a pump fake. They bite. He jumps into him. It's different. It's very different than what James Harden and Dwayne Wade were doing when they were in the NBA. They would do a pump fake. They wouldn't bite. And then Dwayne Wade would shoot into them. And then they'd call a foul. That is baiting. Shai does a pump fake. If they jump on him, then of course he's going to jump directly into them. So shout out Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I know he gets a lot of free throws. I mean, 20. He made 23 out of 26. I know that. But you can't take away how good of a player he actually is just because he draws fouls. If anything, that should amplify his greatness even more. Although it is annoying. It is very annoying. On the other side, the Pacers, I mean, they did what they can. Pascal Siakam had an unbelievable game. He had 32 points, 4 assists, and 15 rebounds. Obi Toppin did well. Didn't shoot that great. He was missing a lot of threes. Oh, wow. He was 0 for 8. Didn't know that. He missed every single three that he attempted. But the man that I wanted to talk about, a couple of them actually, Andrew Nembhard, he was 0 for 5, and then he got a shoulder injury, 0 for 2 from, he just didn't make a single shot. He got free throws. That was it. He got his shoulder like stuck in Shai's like maneuver driving to the hoop, and I guess he has a shoulder injury. I hope it's not that bad. But yeah, the man who I really want to talk about was Benedict Mathurin. He had 36 points. Shot 3 for 8 from deep. That could improve. But he had 17 free throws. So that's why I'm not really listening. I'm not really listening to the whole Pacers fans talking about Shai getting all those free throws. Because, I mean, look at all the free throws. The Pacers had 40 of them. The Thunder had 51 of them. You had 11 free throws. The game went into double overtime. If Aaron Nesmith shot better percentages, I mean, he shot 2 for 7. Siakam shot 12 for 25. Isaiah Jackson shot 0 for 2. Benedict Mathurin shot 9 for 19. Andrew Nembhard was 0 for 5. Obi Toppin was 8 for 18. Ben Shepherd was 5 for 11. Do you see what I'm getting at? Jarris Walker, 6 for 11, even though he was playing pretty good defense. Like, all of these things that I'm naming, you saw why you lost your defense was good towards the tail end of the game. But for the majority of the game, you were just letting them do whatever they wanted. Typically, or I mean, primarily Shea. I do think that the pace. I'm not. I'm going to be honest. In my predictions for like the top guards in this league in those podcasts, I said that Andrew Nembhard, this was going to be his season where he shows whether or not he can really control and lead a team. I may have slept on Benedict Mathurin. I know one of my viewers, he's a Pacers fan. He always told me in stream that Benedict Mathurin is better than Jaden Ivey. He said he points out Jaden Ivey because I am a Pistons fan. Well, we haven't seen Jaden Ivey play since January 1st when he broke his leg. And honestly, at this point, I believe it. Jaden Ivey isn't drawing free throws like that. Jaden Ivey isn't drawing the attention that Benedict Mathurin was, but at the same time, it's because they only had Siakam and Benedict Mathurin who were threats to even score at all last night. So I do want to give my flowers to Mathurin. He played incredible. He had 36 points. He may have had 4 turnovers, but he had the ball in his hands a lot. He had 11 rebounds. Like he had a really good game. If he had any facilitating whatsoever, then I think that they might have had a chance. Obviously, a couple people fouled out. Mathurin fouled out. Ben Shepherd fouled out. I know Rick Carlisle loves him some Ben Shepherd. And Aaron Nesmith also fouled out. In just 26 minutes. They gotta limit those fouls. But I think the Pacers played a very, very good game. It just came down to who's the best player on the floor. And it was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. There were a couple of those foul calls near the end that just didn't make sense to me. And it's unfortunate that those just happened to like technically win them the game there. But the Pacers had nothing left. They put everything they had on the floor, and that's just what they were limited to. So I think it was a great first game. I think ESPN did a pretty decent job. I think it was a really good game. But the Thunder still, even though they're missing J-Dub, even though they were missing Case and Wallace, even though they're missing Alex Caruso, who, I forgot to mention, Lou Dort had Pascal Siakam dropping 32 on him, 36 on him, and he was tasked in guarding all of them. Lou Dort played 43 minutes. He couldn't hit a shot. He was 1 for 4, and it's because he was guarding Siakam and Mathurin all game. The man didn't have a single second to take a breath. So I feel for him because normally him and Caruso would switch off. Him and J-Dub would switch off. I feel for him because he was tasked to do the impossible yesterday. And that was trying to limit their 2 best offensive players there. Good game. I do think the Pacers, I don't see how you can have the Pacers as long as TJ McConnell comes back healthy and they can limit their injuries throughout the year, as long as Nembhard's okay. I think they could truly lock in a play-in spot at the bare minimum. Honestly, they're a good team. They're a good team. They're just missing their superstar. And a reliable center. They are missing that. Now, let's move on to our second and last game of the night. There was only 2 games yesterday. And it was the Pacers debut. I forgot to mention that, as well as the Denver Nuggets debut against the Warriors. The Warriors defeat Nuggets in overtime, 137-131. Now, this was the game. They were both great games. But this is the game that I thought to myself, this thing could swing any moment. But I think Denver's got it locked up. Well, I was 1 for 2 in my picks for games last night. I had the Thunder winning and the Nuggets winning. And the Nuggets, I thought they had it, but Curry woke up. I want to start with a loser this time and then move on to the winner, right? So let's start with the Denver Nuggets. Cam Johnson, I see a lot of Nuggets fans already regretting the trade for Michael Porter Jr. They were saying run it back, MPJ just wasn't healthy. I disagree. I still think Cam Johnson does more than Michael Porter Jr. does on the offensive side. First game as a Nugget, didn't go so high. He was 2 for 8. It happens. He was 1 for 6 from deep. The good thing is he took 6 threes. He wasn't afraid. He took 6 threes. More of those will go in. If I were the Nuggets fans, I would not be stressed out right now. I'm going to skip over one name. He's in the thumbnail. You saw him. I'm going to talk about Jokic real quick. 8 for 23. You're probably wondering, 8 for 23. What? Jokic shot 13 3-pointers. He made 2 of them. Now, I don't know the exact stat. I'd have to look at all of Jokic's games. I can't remember the last time I've seen Nikola Jokic shoot that many threes in a game. Last year, he averaged less than 5 threes attempted. He was averaging 4.5 3-pointers attempted a night. He took more than 3 times that. Nikola Jokic, I'll be honest with everyone. I know everybody was so focused on Luka Doncic's weight. I think we should point some focus to Nikola Jokic. He does not look in shape. He looks exactly like how I saw what he was doing all summer long, and that was just drinking beer, hanging out with his horses, and just vibing. He does not look in shape, and I know everybody says, "Oh, it's Nikola Jokic. He doesn't need to be in that shape." He was settling for threes when last year he wasn't settling. I hope that's not a trend. The Nuggets will be a below 500 team if they have Jokic shooting 15% from three. I don't know why people aren't talking. I haven't seen a single person on my timeline talking about Nikola Jokic's weight, but he does not look in shape. I mean, he had 21 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. So even despite a loss, Nikola Jokic dropped a triple-double in his first game of the season. It wasn't an efficient one. 8 for 23. Christian Braun not having a good game. And I'm not going to put too much stock into that. He was guarding Steph Curry all night. I don't want to be like everyone else and insult a man for getting paid. He got 5 years, I think $125 million. He was guarding Steph Curry. Nobody's guarding Steph Curry. So I'm not going to put too much stock into that. He shot 3 for 7 last night, so not a good game from Christian Braun. Jamal Murray had a great game. He had 25 points, 11 for 20. 1 for 4 from deep, but that's because I think he had Jimmy Butler on him most of the night. So I mean, that's a tough ask for Jamal Murray to play over. And a man that I said the Nuggets would be so happy they got is former Piston Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. was not doing much for the Pistons, mainly because he was asked to start for us when Jaden Ivey went down, right? And he was not hitting his open threes whatsoever. He shot 4 for 8, 2 for 5 from deep. Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to be a crucial piece to this team. And I think Nuggets fans should be very, very excited because you're going to have multiple games this season where Tim Hardaway Jr. lights it up for 25 points. I guarantee it. I will bet my life that you get at least 2 or 3 games minimum where he drops 25 and he's like 7 for 8 from deep. It's going to happen. Tim Hardaway Jr. always does that. Bruce Brown was great off the bench, 2 for 3. He only played less than 20 minutes. Peyton Watson didn't even take a shot. He had 2 free throws. That's it. And I want to talk about one man off the bench in particular, Jonas Valanciunas, 12 minutes, 4 for 5 from the field, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He had 8 points. This is the man that I was hyping up all summer long. Nikola Jokic finally has a center behind him that he could rest. Jonas Valanciunas, the offense was still running through him as if he was Jokic. We all know Valanciunas is not Jokic, but they were using him as a point center. I'm telling you, Jonas Valanciunas is the most underrated pickup from the offseason because I honestly could not tell a difference with Jonas on the court rather than Jokic. Jokic hangs out at the top of the key at the 3-point line. Valanciunas hangs around at the free throw line, but they still play through him. He was getting into the open man. How many assists did he have? 2. But he was spreading the ball around, still 3 rebounds in 12 minutes. Jonas Valanciunas is such a big body, and I am so thrilled that Jokic finally has a backup center behind him. Those minutes were not the issue. The issue was Jokic losing his drive at the end of the game and taking 3 after 3 after 3. I've never seen Jokic do this. Just attempt all of these threes on that low percentage. Like I said, he averaged less than 5 attempts per game last season, and he took 2 for 13. The man that everybody's talking about just broke a record in NBA history. Not field goal percentage-wise, but true shooting-wise. Aaron Gordon. The guy that you might remember doing those TikTok dances with those like 15-year-olds. I don't remember what their names were on TikTok. Aaron Gordon dropping 50 points. 17 for 21 from the field, and he made 10 out of 11 threes. He had 50 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block. I don't understand why they didn't give him the ball and get the hell out of the way. I can't believe they soiled the Aaron Gordon game in his debut, dropping 50 points on 81% shooting from the field and 91% shooting from three. 10 threes in the debut game of the season. Hey, I called it. This is another prediction that I called. I said Aaron Gordon was the top 10 power forward in the league, and that nobody talks about him shooting over 40% from deep last season on a lot of attempts. And I said, I expect this number to stay the same, but the attempts to go up. I'm already right. This is exactly what I said. Aaron Gordon is the most underrated four in the entire NBA. He shoots over 40% from three last season, and now this season he's shooting 91%. I cannot believe that the Denver Nuggets gave it to Nikola Jokic at the end of the game when I know how great he is. But the night that Aaron Gordon was having, you give him the ball and you get the hell out of his way. 10 three-pointers made out of 11 attempts. He should have had the ball. This is on the Denver Nuggets. This is on their head coach. I don't even remember what this guy's name is. I know he looks like that mad guy from those comic books from way back in the day. Yeah, this sucks. This sucks. They should not have lost that game. Let's talk about the other side of the Golden State Warriors. I want to talk about one guy immediately. Jonathan Kuminga. After all summer of you adding stress and anxiety to your front office, your fan base, your teammates, it looks like you have finally realized the kind of player that you can be. 1 for 4 from deep, but 6 for 11 from the field. He doesn't need to be a pull-up shooter, shot creator. If you're hitting them when you're open, that's all they're asking you to do. You drive to the rim like Jimmy does. You drive to the rim like Draymond does, except at a way higher percentage, right? Jonathan Kuminga, when you are not worried about getting your buckets and your buckets only because you came off the bench, but you're starting, you are now realizing that, wow, winning feels better than dropping 20 points off the bench. And I promise you, it will continue to feel better. You are such a key component to this team. And I hope the Warriors are not shopping him around, because Jonathan Kuminga is the type of player that could go off on a playoff series and win you a couple games. Not by himself, of course, but I'm saying with the help of his starting lineup, I feel like it is more than possible in doing so. He shot 6 for 11 out of 14 points. I think Jonathan Kuminga could be a very, 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 very good player in this league. And I think I hope the Warriors hold on to him unless the deals, unless they're getting like Giannis or something. But I would not trade for Lauri Markkanen. I would keep Jonathan Kuminga and build through this because it was looking good. There's a lineup in particular that I want to talk about. But first, I think I want to go down the line and then last we'll obviously talk about Steph Curry's night. Jimmy Butler did what Jimmy Butler did. 8 free throws, 7 for 8. He had 21 points, 6 for 15 shooting. Unbelievable. Great night from Jimmy. Not the 31 points, but they didn't need it. I already talked about Kuminga. Draymond Green, 5 for 8. He made 2 threes. Did everything he needed to do. 13 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds. That's a Draymond Green game. That's a highlight game. Pods, I'm still not a full believer, but I'm slowly becoming more of a fan. 2 for 6 from deep, 4 for 9. I saw Brandon Pods just talked about that he wants to be better than Steph Curry. He wants to be a much better player than Steph Curry in his career. Those are a lot of words. But hey, man, let's just try to focus on shooting at a higher split and trying to move that ball a little bit more. Because 1 assist is not much. Buddy Hield had a horrible game. He had a great first game, and then he shot 1 for 7 from deep this game, but he still went 5 for 13, so decent. Gary Payton II was great defensively, really good offensively. Anytime you're going to get 6 points out of him on good efficiency, that's more than what you could ask for. Now, I want to talk about Will Richard real quick. This rookie looks like he can be something special. He's got some unbelievable confidence that not many rookies have. He's not really hitting his shots, but he's taking those shots, and that's great. 16, 17 minutes off of a Warriors team. This is awesome. This is great. Keep it going. I am surprised that the Warriors aren't trying out TJD, Trace Jackson Davis. We'll see. They haven't really needed him yet, but I feel like it'd be good to just bring him in sometimes, especially with Guy Santos. They're obviously still missing DeAnthony Melton and Moses Moody. Now, before I talk about Curry in particular, I want to talk about a lineup that I think might be one of my favorite starting lineups in the entire NBA. Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, Draymond Green, Al Horford. I said it in the offseason. I said it right at the beginning of the season. I said it in training camp. Al Horford was destined to be a Golden State Warrior. He spreads the floor. He plays well defensively. He's old. This team needed one big man that can do what Al Horford could do. And not many big men can do exactly what Al Horford does. But there's no player that I feel like the Warriors needed most this offseason than Big Al. He has done so much for this team. Just sitting in the corner and still swinging that ball with the extra pass. Being down there defensively, he may not grab you 10 rebounds again a game anymore. He had 3, but 13 points, 1 block, 1 steal, 3 assists. You can't ask for a better Al Horford game. He was +6 on the court as well. Al Horford is such a prolific pickup. Look at that lineup. Just look at that for a second. Last year and the last few years, they had Kevon Looney at their 5, right? They didn't have any shooting. Draymond Green can't really shoot, but he's spotty. He's shooting more now. With this lineup, I feel like Jimmy Butler is attempting more threes than he has in his last 5 years of his career. Just so we're all clear. He attempted 4 threes and he hit half of them. You'll take that every day of the week if he's shooting 50% from 3. The lineup of Steph Curry, Jonathan Kuminga, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and Al Horford is so exciting to watch. So exciting to watch. And I honestly love it. I can't get enough of it. Their biggest weakness is their age. The Golden State Warriors. They are old. That is a very old lineup. That's the only thing stopping them. It's just their age. I hope they continue to stay healthy. I think it's time that we talk about Steph Curry. Man, he really does not. I mean, come on. He's been doing this for all these years, right? He had 7 points at halftime. 7. He finished with 42. Not just that. He didn't just finish with 42 points. But he scored 16 straight from the end of regulation into the first overtime. He outscored the entire team of the Denver Nuggets in those final minutes. As a whole, the team as a whole, Steph Curry has, I don't know how many times he has to do this. I saw people talking about Curry at halftime on Twitter, talking about not my GOAT, best shooter of all time, with quotation marks. And I'm over here thinking, have they watched Steph Curry before? Do they really think he's going to come out in the third quarter and not light them up? He had 7 points at halftime. He finished with 42. Steph Curry. I mean, there's not much to say. He's that good. He is that good. And I said it's just one game after their first game. I said it against the Lakers. I said it's just one game, but the Warriors are championship contenders. And I'll go one step further. I know they had a really hot start last year, and then they fell off a cliff because Curry got hurt. But then they got Jimmy Butler, and then they rose to the top again. I'm going to say it. It's just 2 games, but the Golden State Warriors are for real. They are for real. And that's it for the games last night. That is it. Now, unfortunately, I broke them down as much as, hey, we talked about it for 34 minutes. 2 games. That's not bad. That ain't bad. Now, going into the weekend, I want to go through my weekend picks, right? And then afterwards, we're going to end the podcast off with our Friday toss-up. So again, I do want to reiterate, if you guys are listening on Spotify and Apple, be sure to leave a 5-star review. And if you are on YouTube, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It goes a long way. So please and thank you. Leave those reviews. Talk about how big my nose is. Talk about how much you love my voice in your ears. Talk about all that stuff. Okay? Let's go through our weekend picks, right? Tonight, we got Bucks Raptors. Both teams 1-0. One team's got to lose. I think I'm going to go for the Raptors. I think the Raptors are going to take this win. It is in Toronto. I think I got the Raptors winning. But Giannis is going to go crazy. The thing is, I think the Raptors are tonight will tell me a lot about the Toronto Raptors. They were incredible in their first game of the year. We'll see if they can keep it up against Giannis and Miles Turner. We also have the Atlanta Hawks and the Magic. That's tough. I think the Hawks will bounce back, though. If not, the Magic will be 2-0. And then we got the Celtics Knicks. Give me the Knicks. Cavaliers Nets. Give me the Cavs for their first win of the season. Pistons versus Rockets in Houston. Give me the Pistons. It's going to be the Rockets. But just give me the Pistons. We're moving to 0-2. Then we got the Heat Grizzlies. Give me the Grizz. They're going to be 2-0. Pelicans Spurs. It's going to be fun watching Wembanyama just shoot over Zion all game. So give me the Spurs 2-0. Wizards Mavs. Give me the Mavs. Timberwolves Lakers. Give me the Timberwolves. Although Luka does like going crazy against Ant. We'll see. But give me the T-Wolves. That's also on Prime. And then we got Warriors Trailblazers. Is that tonight? Damn, the Warriors are on a back-to-back? I guess they're going to Oregon. And they just lost their head coach. Sorry, Chauncey. I'm not gonna do the whole weekend. I'll just do tonight. And then over the weekend, on Monday, we'll talk about the weekend winners. Okay. Then Jazz Kings. I think the Kings will bounce back and get that win unless the Jazz are just proving that they're a championship contending team. Suns Clips. Give me the Clips. They're going to bounce back. They can't lose 2 horrible games in a row like that. Okay. Those are our weekend picks. Now, ladies and gents, I think some of you guys, maybe I'm wrong. Obviously, this is a basketball podcast, but I want you guys to get to know me a little bit, right? I want you guys to know who you're listening to. So we're going to keep this a tradition. Every single Friday, we're going to do a segment that I call Friday Toss-Ups, right? It's going to be where you guys in the live chat, in the live crew, share a story about something that happened in your life. And then ask me a question, direct it to me. So we got a lot of examples right now. We're only going to do 3 every Friday to end every single podcast off. So 3 viewers of mine in the Twitch stream. You can participate in the YouTube stream as well, folks. They shared a story that happened in their life, and then they asked me a question. I'm going to read one. The first one, you can consider this like, it's not really a mailbox, but it's sort of a mailbox hybrid that most podcasts do. I appreciate the likes on YouTube. Thank you, guys. So the first story comes from Spangs in the Twitch stream. His story is, I was at a wedding reception this weekend, and all the groomsmen were sloshed, meaning they've had a few drinks. They all had their pants down to their ankles and standing just in their underwear. They tried pulling my pants down, and I've never been more uncomfortable in my life. What was the most uncomfortable moment you've been in your life? I know that's a weird question. He's a weird guy. He's a weird guy, so of course he has a weird story. The most uncomfortable I've been in my life, I'd have to say it was at my uncle's second wedding. I was picked to be one of the, I don't know, just, I wouldn't call it a groomsman, but like I was chose to like walk in the wedding with my cousin, his daughter. I was maybe 11 years old. Yeah, I was probably 11 years old. And I hated this girl cousin of mine. I absolutely despised her. So I don't want to walk with her. So I was holding her like this when we were walking down the church aisle, and I was just walking, and I was like, unbelievably uncomfortable. But I did it. I sucked it up. Then they wanted us, you know, when they bring the new husband and wife out to the dance floor at the reception, and they do their little dance, and then we all follow and then do our dance with the person that we're walking with. Well, the person I'm walking with is my cousin, who I despised at the time and totally don't despise her anymore. And we walked up. I put my arm out. I walked her out to the dance floor. put my hands on her, and walked away. I was like 11 years old. I walked away. I left her all alone on the dance floor. I don't think I've ever been more comfortable in my life than that moment, because everybody in the family knew that I didn't like her. And that is what happened. Didn't like her, meaning past tense. So I'd say that's the most uncomfortable moment I've been in my life. Next up, we have Miss Tracy in the Twitch stream. She said, one time I was so sloshed. They use different words, but I'm trying to use some family friendly ones. And I had to pee so bad. So I had to pop a squat and use a leaf to wipe. What was the time that you had to pee so bad that you almost pissed yourself? Great question. I'd say it was my last road trip. I live in North Carolina now. So I road trip once in a while up to Michigan, and it's about a 10.5-hour drive. I was just driving and I had my puppy in the back seat, and I was in the middle of the mountains, driving through the Rockies, and I had to pee so bad because I thought I remembered a gas station with an exit in a certain spot, but it wasn't there. I was completely wrong. It was not there. I drove and drove and drove, and I needed to pee 50 miles ago, but now here we are, and I haven't peed in like 6 hours, and I actually downed an entire energy drink and drank half a bottle of water. So it came to a point where I was looking at my energy drink bottle, or my can, looking at the road, looking at my energy drink can, looking at the road, looking at my energy drink can, looking at the road. And I was considering peeing inside that can, but I was scared that I might cut myself on it. So lo and behold, the gas station was right around the corner. So I'm glad I didn't have to make that choice in my life. But that is the moment that I had to pee most in my life. You know, I don't know what these questions have been, but if you guys think that you guys got better questions, be sure to drop them down below in the live crew, whether you're watching on Twitch or YouTube. And yeah, your name will be appearing on the podcast. Remember, we are doing this every single Friday for Friday toss-ups at the end of the week. Something to look forward to, right? Now, I have 3 more, and I can only pick one. I think I like this one. Our viewer of mine named Dustin said, one time while my wife was still in school, a few friends and I were heading out to pick her up. We'd been having a few drinks, and so, since it was just down the road, I brought my beer with me. That's not good. I ended up getting pulled over for making an illegal turn. The cop pulled me out of the car to talk, and I was terrified that I was about to go to jail, but my friend Cody and I somehow managed to hide the beer before he saw it. What's the time that you should have gone to jail, but somehow didn't? So I guess I'm just snitching on myself now. Great question. Great story. Yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. Yeah, I do not promote drinking and driving. That's a no-no. But one time when I was 18 years old, and I was visiting my boys at their college. I'm not gonna say any colleges. You know, we had a lot of what Dustin was talking about. We had a lot, and there was campus security because my boy lived in the dorms. And then the campus security was also an armed police officer. So they had actual cops on campus. I don't remember doing this, but all of my friends still talk about it to this day. But I was out of my mind, hammered. And I was speaking to the cop. I told him to lower his window, and apparently I had a very nice conversation flowing with him for like 5 or 10 minutes. And I guess he didn't know that or maybe he did know. Maybe he did know. I don't know. Whatever. I definitely should not have been doing that. And then I remember, I don't remember this, but we went into the campus shop where you get like snacks and like food. Mind you, it's like 3 a.m. And there's a video of me sticking my finger through an entire Cinnabon. We didn't buy it. So yeah, we were hooligans at 18 years old. I don't remember doing that, but there are videos of it. And then me Naruto running back to the dorm immediately after that and falling on my face on a bunch of gravel. So that's a little bit about me. Thank you guys so much for all the stories and comments for the Friday toss-ups. Hopefully we can do better next week. Hopefully we can do a little bit better next week. So again, if you guys want to get to know me a little bit more, and this is something that you would look forward to for next week, be sure to come through to the streams Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Remember, there are no podcasts over the weekend on Saturday and Sunday, unless the Detroit Pistons beat the Houston Rockets tonight. If the Pistons beat the Rockets, I'm not going to go live, but you'll definitely get a podcast out. You know what? I might even go live. I'll go live. If we somehow manage to beat the Houston Rockets, we will go live tonight and do a podcast immediately afterwards for immediate game reacts. I'm also thinking of starting a playback. If you guys are unaware of what playback is, it's where I can watch live games and stream them to my audience. And if you guys are subscribers, you could also watch the games with me. And then I think if you're not a subscriber, but you just want to hang out there, you can still hear me. You just can't watch the game. So I think that's something that we're going to start doing. So be on the lookout for that. I will mention it in future podcasts as well. And again, guys, my Twitter, my main YouTube channel, JZ Uncut, my Discord server, my Twitch stream, my everything. All the links will be down in the show notes, whether you're listening on Spotify and or YouTube. Be sure to leave a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple, and be sure to leave a like and subscribe on YouTube. It would really go a long way. That's it, y'all. This is a pretty short podcast. I mean, there's really not much I could do talking about just 2 games that happened last night. So hopefully we got a great weekend. There's a lot of games. So we'll bring some new segments next week. Guys, this was our first week. I think we started, did we start these podcasts on Wednesday? Yeah, this is only our second live one. But this is really, really exciting because next week will be our first full week of doing these live podcasts. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to. Yeah, I could see myself doing this for a long, long time. So just, I know right now we're sort of just breaking down the games, but eventually I want to add some segments like over-unders, like true or false, like, cap or no cap, like things like that. So next week I'm going to start incorporating some more segments to make these podcasts a little bit more engaging and fun for you guys. That's all I got for y'all. I appreciate everybody for watching, listening, whatever it may be, whether you're on YouTube live, whether you're on Twitch live. Shout out to the live crew. I appreciate y'all very much. Be sure to leave the 5-star reviews. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, follow, all that jazz. I got nothing left to say except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, thanks for watching / listening. I'll see y'all Monday unless the Pistons win. Yeah, that's all I got, y'all. Have a blessed day.